I'm Peter Kell, Commissioner at ASIC, and welcome to the FPA series on Bulletproof Advice. Our Scaled Advice consultation paper and our final guidance actually provide more examples than just about any other aspect of FOFA that we've been looking at. That's so we can give you a lot of guidance about situations where you can still provide high quality advice on a more limited scope and meet, for example, the best interest tests and other FOFA requirements. We're very confident that people are going to be able to provide that more targeted advice in a cost-effective way while still providing high quality advice.
In respect to scaled advice, it's very important that advisors realise that it can actually be provided today, and post-FOFA scaled advice can be provided. So it can be provided. The big question, of course, is whether or not it will reduce the cost of advice. Now, one of the big promises that the government introduced in respect to FOFA was that FOFA would create greater access and affordability of advice. This question remains unanswered. Well, scaled advice still requires you, and this is an important point, that you actually still need to act in the client's best interest. Scaled advice does not mean reduced obligations. Scaled advice does not mean that someone less qualified is to provide that advice. So as a result of that, the processes in which one provides advice, the competency and training one that has to provide the advice remains unchanged. So the real question is, what is it that you do different today that you can do tomorrow in order to reduce some costs in the delivery of that advice? And that is the real question mark. The code consultation paper specifically introduces some new principles and standards around delivering scaled advice while still meeting your obligations. And the way we've tried to address this is through introducing some new client type arrangements or standards and new client age type arrangements. This will enable advisors to be able to better scope the questionnaire and the needs set of those clients by categorising them in a certain type or certain age group. By categorising clients in a certain type, by certain need and a certain age group, enables advisors to not have to complete a full comprehensive fact find by able to tailoring the questionnaire and needs to the client based on the situation or the need or problem of the client, and by the client's age group and demographic. This then can reduce and make it more efficient in respect to that advice process. The code consultation can help advisors make sure they tick off their obligations, make it more efficient in respect to the process. Now, whether or not it will reduce cost, well, that would depend on each individual unique business model and practices and processes, but we can help minimise that and provide standards to support that while still making sure that you adhere to all your obligations under the code and the law.
Most of the people we meet for the first time actually have a specific advice need or situation that they're looking for help on, rather than the traditional comprehensive advice scenario. So with the regulatory certainty and guidance that we're getting on this area, I'm hoping it'll give planners more confidence to design services that meet scaled advice needs. I think it'll look a little bit different, but it's not the overwhelming change that I think many planners suspect it will be. I think rather it's going to put some framework around a lot of what we already do. You know, ASIC emphasised a lot in their guidance that they're expecting planners to use their professional judgment and expertise when dealing with these situations. The important thing therefore for planners is to have systems and processes around that give their individual planners some framework for that advice, and also provide some evidence that although the advisor has scaled their advice, they've nevertheless been comprehensive and thorough in the areas in which they've covered with the client. There's still an issue of affordability and profitability. A lot of the people who have a scaled advice need still can't afford to get the professional advice they need. Or rather, it's difficult for advisors to still provide a level of individual care and operate profitably, especially if that scaled advice need doesn't have any ongoing relationship tied to it. So that's going to be a real challenge for simply the business models. I think there's a real challenge for planners too in their own level of expertise and experience. if ASIC are relying on us to demonstrate professional judgment and use knowledge, well, our talents and our education has to be right up to standard, and we just can't take anything less than that for granted. Look, in my business, we've recently developed a scaled advice offer for the children of our clients. And we refer anecdotally to, it's like we're walking them through business class on their way to their economy seat. So it gives them a taste of what's required. It solves their immediate issue, and that might be, should I pay off my mortgage quicker, or should I put more money into my superannuation? We can address that need, but it gives them an introduction into just what's available in terms of a relationship with a financial advisor. That's really important, because usually when we meet people for the first time, they have very little idea of just what a planner can do for them. It's really important that planners don't see scaled advice as some sort of shortcut to target a new market or just deal in a particular area and not have to be able to either assist in comprehensive planning or have expert professionals who they can refer people to. So I think it's got tremendous opportunities to it, but equally it shouldn't be seen as a shortcut to just keeping things overly simple.
Well, definitely advisors should be reviewing their processes and deliver advice, full stop. So both comprehensive and whatever limited or scaled advice processes they have in place today. And then the question is, are they able to still deliver that and tick off their best interest duty obligations? That's the first point of call. And then if they can do that, the question is, well, where are their efficiencies in respect to that delivery of advice? But also advisors need to ask themselves the question as to whether or not that is a particular market or demographic of clients or business model that they want to aim for and provide advice to. But also in saying that most advisors don't today provide comprehensive advice. So it's a matter of making sure that their processes are right for FOFA in delivering whatever form of advice it is and still meeting their obligations.